Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Rundown. Oh yeah, that was just that was like a really bad accent. Hey everybody, Craig DeLuce here on behalf of the Rundown. I will be your host today, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. But as we always say, I don't do this program by myself.
Yeah, Craig, I didn't know you could do a Boston accent. That's pretty crazy. Hey, welcome to the Rundown. My name is Mike Peworski, and I will be your co-host today, coming to you from the East Coast of this beautiful country of ours.
Exactly. For those of you who do not know, Mike is in Florida. I am in California. He's in America. I am in the People's Republic of California, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras.
Yep, and I'm in Florida. I don't know, we can't say much. I'm in a peninsula. You know, it looks like if the country was taking a leak on Cuba, that's what Florida would be doing.
That's pretty much what it would be. Now, mind you, that while California is as bad as it is, we do not have Florida Man.
Oh, listen, I'd almost trade you some of your communist manifestos there for having to deal with some of the Florida Man nonsense we have to deal with. So the good thing, the saving grace is most of the Florida Man things are not actually people from Florida. They're people that come to Florida and think it's the place to do that. So.
Right. Well, today, folks, we all celebrate. We celebrate it all because guess what? Today is Thirsty Thursday. So with that, Mike there is there in the bourbon room. I'm here, in my studio with some bourbon. So cheers.
I'm having iced tea. I got to go to work.
Right. Yes, I always say this. It's noon somewhere, right?
That's right.
That was coffee. That was coffee, folks. Don't even trip. That was coffee. All right, so hey, why don't we get into today's stories? Let's start with President Joe Biden yesterday introduced his new crime bill package, how he plans on addressing crime and stopping the influx, the flow of crime that is taking place in these United States, whether it's property crime, destruction of property, or whether it's the spikes in murder in cities throughout the country. And his big plan, his number one item on his agenda is to go after legal gun store owners.
Well, this gives him a couple of things to do that he's wanted to do for a while. One, we know that they're anti-gun, and one of the ways to get rid of the firearms is to get rid of the number of gun stores. So he could pick up this piece of agenda and make this happen. We've seen it in media in the past, 2-3 months, how there have been a number of gun stores that have been doing illegal activities around the country. And I think it's actually, when you look at it, there were two. And these were the kind of people that maybe started out as a good gun store and then got hooked into some sort of crime, some sort of criminal element, whether it was a reliance upon a chemical dependence and they needed more money to do that, or gambling. So they basically started selling their guns without doing the proper background checks. And those people immediately were caught and went to jail, and very well they should have. Well, what the story refers to, though, and it wants to make you believe, is that every gun store has got something they're doing wrong, and the ATF's policy has been to turn the other cheek. Well, let me tell you about their administrative policies. You sell 5,000 guns a year, and you get 10 people that forget to check the Hispanic or non-Hispanic mark in the form. The ATF still comes in and gives you 10 violations for that. Never mind that it's less than 0.1% of the people that you sold firearms to and got background checks and make sure they were approved. But because they failed to check an appropriate block on a form, the ATF says, well, that's 10 violations. And then the story turns to 10 violations at gun store, no penalty. And now President Biden is going to go after the gun stores, and this is the means he's going to use to do so.
Well, and that's the thing gets me, is that's the crazy part, is in most of these cases, especially there are legitimately a handful of gun stores that for some reason seem to be the source of a number of firearms that wind up involved in crimes. And I'm in agreement. If too many of those guns are coming out of a handful of gun stores, dude, why haven't you investigated? Why haven't you shut down these gun stores?
Why haven't you done your job?
Why exactly? Why haven't you done your job?
Yep.
Because clearly there is a problem there.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. Even then, even with that, we're talking about that. Even with that, that's a small percentage of the overall firearms that are involved in crimes. Because here's what we know about 96% of the firearms that are discovered that are involved in crimes. They weren't purchased at a gun. They weren't purchased. The person who had them wasn't the original owner. It wasn't
Correct.
the person who purchased it originally at the gun store. So what we know, so basically what that says is that, yeah, that's not where people who are looking to do crimes are purchasing their firearms. So why are you going after gun store owners? Here's the reason why, and I'll tell you the reason why. It's got nothing to do with stopping crime. It has everything to do with infringing on our right to keep and bear arms, because these are the folks that are on the front lines making sure that we have the opportunity to exercise our rights. They help facilitate that right.
Yep. This is to identify the law-abiding citizen that's purchasing firearms, identify the firearm they're purchasing, so we can come back later on when we decide, you know what, for the good of the country, we're going to have to register these guns. And then after that, they say, for the good of the country, we're going to have to confiscate them and hold them for you. That's what these records are for.
Yes, comrade. That is exactly what the plan is. And and that just goes, but that goes to show why our next story is so important, and that has to do with Dave Chipman, Biden's nominee to the ATF. Now, normally you don't see this. You don't see ATF agents or former directors of the ATF speak out against or speak out about nominees to run the ATF. I think those who've run it in the past, and I've had issues with them, with many of them, with many of their policies, but at the very least, they at least put on airs to be nonpartisan, to say, look, our job is to facilitate the exercising of the law and yada yada yada. But when an ex-director, a former director, and an agent say that a nominee is way too partisan to hold the post, Mike, I'm thinking you gotta listen.
Yeah, listen. You got. I think it's two former directors that are saying that he's too partisan. He's been an activist. He's an anti-gun guy. This is not what you want to hold your agency together, to provide an unbiased, executive to lead this agency. It's not what the country needs. It's what Biden and Harris want, because they want to see our guns taken away. It's what the libs want, because they want to see our guns taken away. But it's this is clearly more evidence that this man, the Waco kid, should not be in charge of the agency. We just also had this week Senator Susan Collins there from Maine. Now she's Republican, but she's usually one of those little wingnut, she's going to vote left or right issues that Republicans look to see where she's going to go. And she's come out and clearly stated, I am not voting for him. He is bipartisan. He is too centric down one side, and that is not good for the country or good for the ATF. So I will not be voting for him. Now, when that happens, usually the next step is we get the fringe Democrats that start to look to break ranks. So this is getting closer and closer with the Waco kid here, Craig.
Mikey, okay, twice you called him the Waco kid. I think you need to share with folks why are you calling him the Waco kid? Because some people may not have tuned in to previous episodes and know why you refer to him as the Waco kid.
Well, I don't know why you would doubt that if they're watching today, they haven't watched all previous episodes.
I'm just saying not everyone has done that. I just, maybe it's just me. I'm just saying everyone hasn't. I'm just saying I'd love for you to tell us why.
He's purported to have said that he was not at Waco. Then there was photographic evidence of him at Waco. Then he committed to saying, well, I was at Waco, but afterwards, as part of the investigative group, showing me what was going on at Waco. Yet he also made comments that 50 cal rifles were used to shoot at government helicopters during Waco. I guess he must have learned that afterwards, because he says he wasn't there. And then, of course, there's the infamous photo with him standing there in front of the compound with the rifle, with the nickname Waco Kid. And he was confronted by members of the Senate and asked about that. And he said, he pulled a Shaggy. He said, it wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
said, Mr. Chipman, this appears to be you with a rifle in front of the compound.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me.
But this is it's you right here. You've got a rifle. You're standing there next to some burned out debris.
Wasn't me. Look, I'm sorry. Some of y'all who don't like hip hop are not going to get that reference. Some of you who do listen to hip hop are going to get that reference. Y'all are my peeps.
Don't give David Chipman a spare key to your apartment. Let's just say that.
Do not give David Chipman a spare key to your apartment.
Yep. How can I
Okay,
forget?
time to move right along. Moving right along. Captain Florida, Governor Rob DeSantis signed a bill that would punish student indoctrination at public universities. Now, folks, this is vitally serious because if you've been paying any attention, social justice theory, critical race theory, whatever you want to call it, the wokeness of America, the attempt to indoctrinate the next generation is in full bore. And Rob DeSantis is stepping up and saying, no, you know what? We need to be, number one, we need to be making sure that we're educating our kids. We're teaching them actual civics, what our country is about. But also, we need to make sure that they have the opportunity to speak their mind and say what they feel, in particular about some of the madness that's being forced upon them. And he signed a bill that basically said, yeah, they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, this is coming a couple of different steps here, but it's kind of accumulated here over the past couple of days. In the state of Florida, Ron DeSantis has already made it the law or signed it into law that critical race theory cannot be taught, cannot be hypothesized, cannot be included in the discussion even at Florida state universities. And if they do so, the Florida state universities will get no money from the state of Florida. So they're just kind of be on their own out there with no money trying to run their college. Yeah, exactly. No.
Not for you. No, not for you.
The second part of this involving the surveys is that every semester, the students and the professors must be given a survey asking, certain questions like, were you allowed to speak your opinion? Were you given only one side of an argument when given that argument? Were you was wokeness forced upon you and you were not allowed to say you don't agree with redistribution of wealth? Were you allowed to voice your opinion? Was this an interactive learning or was this a one-way indoctrination? And if that happens, then again, losing money at the Florida State University systems, Florida State universities in the university system, and instructors, professors could lose their jobs. And instructors and professors are up in arms, Craig, because, now people, what are you going to have somebody in our classroom watching what we teach? Well, how about, frick yeah. Why all of a sudden are you teaching in a public college and you think you could do whatever you want without oversight?
Well, the worst part is that this is supposed to be a place, a university of any place. It's supposed to be a place where you can have open discussions, where you can have a free flow of ideas. And what's happened and what it's turned into under social justice theory is if you disagree with social justice theory, then, you fail. And students are literally being oppressed into complying with this. And I'm like, no, that's not right. That is beyond not right. That is totally against what the educational opportunity, higher education is supposed to be all about.
Yep. Yeah. The other side of this new legislation is that in high schools and middle schools now, that civics must be taught. They must teach, civics and government again. They must teach about patriotism. They must teach, what the bad sides are of socialism, totalitarianism, communism are. All those things must be presented to the students during civics and government class, which has not been the case in Florida for 10, 15 years now.
Right. So they understand why we're not those things.
Exactly right.
There's a reason we're not a socialist country. Trust me. It doesn't work out for socialist countries.
Yeah. Yeah, listen. Well, you know what? We only have so much time. I'm not even going to go into
Yeah,
socialist
we're not
countries.
even going to go there. Okay. Moving right along. Speaking about socialist, hey, let's talk about the military. So, all right, Mikey, this is one you're going to have to take the lead on because you know General Milley and this whole interaction better than I do. So, I'm going to let you take the lead on this particular conversation.
All right. What we recently had up in the House of Representatives was General Milley. He's the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He's effectively the highest ranking uniformed military member of the United States military. What do we got? Six branches now. So he was called to task about the same thing we saw the chief of naval operations called to task on last week or yesterday. I think we talked about it, where the military is getting too woke. We're preaching too much. We're preaching critical race theory to them, and I'm going to reiterate a couple of things to you that we've probably said before. But the military from the Obama administration became the social proving grounds, the experiment factory for social policies that the Obama administration wanted to put in place with the public. They could not, but they could put it in place in the military, and that ended up with a absolutely decreased readiness, decreased strength, and force protection, force projection throughout our military. Under President Trump, we spent about 4 years trying to pull that back. Got some of it back, but now Biden's back in, and again, it might as well be the Obama third term. It's back to being the social experimentation center for the White House in the military. So the woke thing is absolutely there. You've lost training time. You've lost the ability to conduct operations because we're more worried about critical race and woke theory than we are actual training. I'll say this about General Milley. He did defend the recommendation of reading of several different theories, like critical race theory, the Communist Manifesto, Mein Kampf, and those type of things, for the same reason, Craig, you and I talked about it, to know your enemy. Now, that's what you should be instructing your students, or you should be talking to your junior soldiers that you're sending this information to, that's what you want them to take away from it, to learn their enemy, not to study this as it is their new policy and procedure manual. I think that is missing with the Chief of Naval Operations.
Exactly. That's what we talked about. But I guess for me, the challenge is like when I think about like whether it's, when I think about studying the Communist Manifesto, or I think about studying Mein Kampf or any of that, those are all about enemies that are foreign, right? Yes. Critical race theory is a theory that is founded largely on crap that came right out of here in the United States. Well, let me clarify. If you go back, social justice theory, and then once you get to postmodernism and then Marxism, all that stuff is foreign. It came from another country. But really, critical race theory is homegrown. And I don't understand how you have our military studying critical race theory without any form of real making sure they understand the context of exactly what it is and what it's about. Because the problem, Mike, is that it makes it sound like they're approving of this stuff. And I'm sorry, but dude failed on this one. And then, by the way, Representative Getz, who was questioning him, probably, I don't know if he was trying to show him deference and respect, but really let him off the hook a little too easy, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Matt's a little shy right now, also because he's under the gun with the FBI investigation, which is just more of the witch hunt, because we know that Congressman Getz is a strong Trump ally, so they have to go after him as well. I'll say this: maybe
maybe you shouldn't have be Venmoing money to people of questionable.
I'll tell you the same thing we said, Craig, when you and I started talking about George Floyd, is that I don't have all the facts. Doesn't mean I'm going to ignore the question. It means I don't have all the facts.
There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff. I like that.
I'll say this about General Milley. He is a huge he's not a friend of the Second Amendment. Let's say it that way.
There you go.
The White House, actually under President Obama, the Defense Department put out a policy after there were shootings involving military bases and military installations. So the Department of Defense put out a policy with the president's signature on it. Now this was after President Trump had been elected, before he had taken office, though. So it was during the interim there. And President Obama signed it, and the Defense Department issued the policy tasking the key military leaders of each branch to come up with the policy to allow service members to carry their firearms concealed while on post to protect themselves, or to and from post in order to protect themselves. General Milley said, "I do not trust our military members with personal firearms," and has never allowed the policy to be written.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I think that's really all you need to know about General Milley.
Yep, exactly right.
Here's the thing. Let me just be real with you. All right, listen, folks. If I ever said anything true to you, this is it. Never trust a government that doesn't trust you with a firearm.
Yeah, 100%.
That's pretty much. I don't know that I can think of anything better. If your government doesn't trust you with your own personal safety, that's not a government worth trusting.
Yeah. Here, take these assault weapons, these actual real assault weapons, these machine guns. Go overseas, do our bidding for us. Protect our assets. But when you come home, we don't care if you want to protect yourself and your family. That's not our problem.
You and your family do not matter to us.
Correct.
Signed, General Milley.
General Milley, exactly right. Yep.
Just saying.
And that's a video quote. He's on video saying that. That's not something somebody overheard and there's hearsay. There's plenty of video evidence of that one. So
exactly.
Craig, let's move right along. I want to move down to our friends in the Baltimore Police Department.
Look, this one was really kind of an easy. So they're discussing, and we've talked about this with a number of different areas. They're talking about the spike in in their case they're talking about untraceable firearms, right? Or ghost guns. Now, Mike, we all know that if there were two ghost guns found last year and there were 3 ghost guns found this year, that's a 50% increase, a 50% spike in ghost guns.
That's correct. Unfortunately, that's where the actual educated counting and estimating in Baltimore appears to end. Before we jump into it, I want to make sure we say hi to good friends in Baltimore, Detective Bayless and Detective Pembleton, friends of the program. So as we look back and we look at the programs now, they've had 2019. They had we had some ghost guns, seized, located, whatever you want to call it. 2021, 2020. I think they said they had. I think it was 29 or 30 firearms that were ghost firearms.
Right.
Ghost firearms. We'll get into that separately. What's a ghost firearm? But they had 29, 30 of them that they located. So far this year, they've had about 80. And let me give it this right. We're in June. We're almost done with June. That would be 6 months done. So 80 and 6 months, Craig. So if I had to double that for the remaining 6 months, I'd call that 160. Does that sound about right?
That's not Baltimore math, though.
What is Baltimore math? What does Baltimore say they're going to have by the end of the year?
Baltimore says they're going to have somewhere around 300.
Somewhere around 300. Because 80 plus 80 in Baltimore is evidently 300. So.
It's new math, bruh. It's new math.
The Baltimore math. This story is full of somebody said, well, we have to have numbers in here. So the writer went, 82, that's a number. Well, where'd you get that number? Well, that's not important. You asked for a number, so I gave you a number. And that's what we've got going on here. 29 firearms were seized. And where did that information come from? 29 firearms were seized. And did you get that from the police department, the courts? Where did you get that from? It's 29 firearms were seized. They can't back up any data in this thing. It's another one of them stories trying to show you that how evil ghost gun. Oh wait,
right.
Oh, I'm sorry, Craig. I thought a ghost gun just flew by me. I saw a ghost gun fly by me.
Ghost guns.
There's more made up. Folks, if you want a gun and you live in a state where it's still legal, go out and get yourself an 80% upper or an 80% lower and build yourself one. Just remember, before you do decide to sell it later on, you must put identifying marks on it. Let the ATF know about that. That is the law. But if you want to build yourself a gun with no firearm and keep it for yourself, you go right ahead. That's legal.
Right, but you know what's funny, Mike, is they don't talk about how many firearms they've seized or they found that have the serial numbers marked off or scratched
Right.
off.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because that
yeah.
that is much more prevalent than ghost guns.
And it's also my belief that that's what they're calling ghost guns now. Oh, look, a gun with no serial number. It's a ghost gun.
That, you know what, I would be very interested to see now, and that's the problem with our modern media is they don't know enough about issues like this, about
Right.
firearms, to ask important questions. So wait a minute, was it a firearm that was manufactured and has no firearm, no serial number, or was the serial number scratched off, removed, or damaged?
Correct. Correct.
Because
Yeah.
you're right. I'm guessing that a lot of those firearms are firearms where the number was they had a serial number and the serial number was removed.
Look, I got another untraceable ghost gun here with no serial number. Yeah, it looks like it's scratched off. Oh yeah, but it's a ghost gun.
Sometimes it be like it.
Yep, exactly right.
Right. Talking about it being like that. Okay. Okay, this is one that I'm like, I really don't know how to feel about this story because, you know, I've been to IKEA. I've done the whole breakfast thing at IKEA, and I bought the cheap furniture that's, you know, almost impossible to put together, and I put it together. But now we're talking about on Juneteenth, somebody decided that serving fried chicken and watermelon on Juneteenth was a good idea. And I got to be honest, Mike, I don't know how to feel about this.
Um, I'm curious now. Was this just their normal, everyday, run of the mill fried chicken and watermelon day, and it just happened to be a coincidence?
I've never seen fried chicken and watermelon at IKEA. This is the first. I didn't see it. If I had known, I mean, okay. So this is where the confusion comes in for me because I'm like, I like fried chicken. I like watermelon. I might have gone if I had known they had it.
Listen, I think I said it to you. Listen, they were serving fried chicken, watermelon, collard greens, sweet yams, and I was like, I wish I was there. I wish I was there. These are all foods on my plus side. This is in suburban Atlanta. There, the IKEA there. Listen, I know IKEA is a Sweden-based company. I don't know how many Swedish people are in the IKEAs, each one making the decisions. If this was a Swedish person that made this, you got to watch more than South Park to figure out our culture in this country. Okay, you really do. If this was people from Atlanta doing this, and you are white and you came up with this, well, you know what? Every damn thing we're fighting for here to get you to knock off, you dropped on a bomb on us on June 19th. If this is a black person, an African American person doing this, well, same thing. Shame on you for making everybody look stupid and bad. This is just a bad move all the way around. And I guess they quickly, once pointed out to them, pulled down this potentially offensive menu.
My question is, did anybody get fried chicken? Did anybody get collard greens?
I wouldn't know if it was good. Because when you eat that Swedish food, it's all nasty and salty,
Okay, so here's the thing. So if I'm in Atlanta, if I'm in Georgia, I'm sorry, the last place I'm going to get fried chicken and collard greens is at an IKEA.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree absolutely. When I think of, man, good fried chicken, IKEA is not even in the top, 40. Top 40. It's
not even the top 40, but still.
No.
They get an A for effort. They get an F for thought.
Yeah, what is it? We used to say it was good initiative, bad judgment.
Very much so, very much so. Speaking of that, we have our parting shot today, and I think you guys are going to love this one. So, okay, I have to admit, this was an event that took place that was hosted by Vice President Kamala Harris, the former senator from California, the former attorney general from California, who decided to host an event and I don't know if this was an actual Juneteenth event, but I'm going to show the meme. I'm going to show the picture anyway. So here's what you got. So it says, toasting Juneteenth and the black help. And you notice there that, first of all, look at the group of senators. Now, there's something interesting about that entire group of senators. Mike, have you noticed those female senators? Have you noticed what it is?
They appear to be whiter than the linens on the table.
Almost all white. Now, but if you look in the last two pictures,
Yeah, yeah.
what do you notice?
Yeah, again, you see, like it says, celebrating Juneteenth with friends and the black help. I will say this. If this picture comes up in any of your social media, they're going to tag it as false because it does not appear as though this occurred on Juneteenth. It occurred either on the 14th or 15th, a couple of days beforehand. Having said that, Craig, is this still proper? You know that you're about to spend in the next 3 days the celebration of the first federal recognized time as a holiday, Juneteenth. Is this the right picture to put up? Is this the right optics to have?
I'll just put it this way. Brother's got a job.
Yeah.
Sister's got
Listen,
a job. They
I
don't
care
look
that it's a
very
room full of
happy.
white women, you know,
they don't look very happy,
Yeah.
but they do got a job.
I don't care that it's a room full of white women. That happens to be who the senators are. Then that's who the senators are. Well, Elizabeth Warren's in there, so we know it's not all white people.
So there's at least one Native American. I think one. There's
Yep.
Duckworth. Is Duckworth a senator or a? No, she's not a senator.
These are the 22 U.S. senators that are women.
Right.
And then we have a black gentleman and a black woman who are clearly thrilled to be there.
And
These are
Kamala
not the
Harris.
optics. These are what is it? What did Obi-Wan Kenobi say? These are not the optics we're looking for.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
Yep. Way to go, Kamala.
All right, Mikey. Hey, tomorrow is Freedback Friday. You need to let the folks know what they can win.
Freedback Friday for right now. This is the last one. I've not gotten confirmation yet that we're going to be continuing with this product on the freebies. Might be this, might be something else. But for now, we know for sure that the one on my hand, this T7075 AR, and that's AR for America's rifle, upper receiver is going to go to the same person as this 80% lower receiver from our good friends at Gorilla Machining and from our good friends at Grid Defense. That we're going to be giving this away during Freedback Friday for whoever is the most engaged, most entertaining, just best all-around competition winner there on the comments. Actually, hold on, let me say this, Craig. It is not a competition. It's only an exhibition. Please, no wagering.
Exactly. Except don't expose yourself.
There you go.
Exactly. So check it out, folks. So here's the deal. It's going to be the best commenter, right? Now, for those of you who are watching us on 2A News, whether on YouTube or on Facebook, you need to switch over to the Rundown, right? If you go to the Rundown, it has a channel both on YouTube and on Facebook. You need to go there because those are the places we're going to be looking at the comments. We're sharing it with 2A News because we want you guys to see this. And 2A News are the ones who kind of help us put this whole thing together. So we want to make sure that there's broadcast there. But yeah, you got to go to the Rundown. Just look up the Rundown on YouTube. It's in the link. It's in the link to the It's in the description of this video. But make sure you guys are there. Now we need people commenting. So like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about the Rundown.
Yeah, come on. Help us help you to help us helping you.
Right.
Like, share,
you can get some
subscribe.
free stuff.
Yeah. Freebies.
Freebies. That's why we call it Freedback Friday. And hey, folks, like, share, subscribe. We will talk to you tomorrow on Freedback Friday.
See you in the funny papers.